For somebody that is just getting started and want to purchase a home, what are the first steps they need to do? Because a lot of times they think the first thing they need to do is contact me, the realtor, when that is really not the first step. The first step is to make sure you have the money and the correct finances and everything you need. So explain that to them.
Yeah, I'm the first step to your new doorstep, right? So, and a lot of people I realize too, I'm just speaking with my friends, like they don't know what a loan officer is. Like they're like, yeah, my friend a mortgage broker, but to them they just hear I'm a realtor. So a lot of people they don't even understand. They just equate money with a bank and that's it. You know, like they don't even realize that it's something in between, you actually getting the money in hand so you can sign your name on the dotted line. So you definitely want to reach out before you are ready, right? So not oh, my lease is up tomorrow and I need to figure this out. You want to reach out before you're ready. As soon as you start getting that inkling or that desire to say, I think that this may be something. So we got to start thinking for the long game.
So do you think like 6 months to a year?
Or sooner, right? Like, because honestly, think about it, right? So your daughter's here. So if at 13 your daughter was groomed with the mindset of what it takes to be a ready buyer, when she turns 18, she's already prepared, then she can make that decision. Because a lot of us, we end up scrambling to go get those keys. And when you scrambling, when you rushing, you make bad choices. Bad decisions, costly choices, costly decisions. So put yourself in a driver's seat rather than on the passenger side by just getting ready before you're ready. So having conversations like these and actually entertaining them, that's step number one. So call me well before you're ready. Like, I'm cool with that. I offer home buyer courses. I love educating. I'm a teacher first, so I love educating. And I think that that's super important because I decided to get ready when it was time to be ready.
So, guess what? This is Boss Women Network. I am Leilani. You are tuned in today. Guess what? We got a guest here, Miss Tatiana Hall. She's going to talk to y'all about some things she's got going on. And guess what? She is a mortgage lender. And for those that's looking to buy a house, this is the person you need to be looking for and trying to get in contact with, because she got all the tools that you need and can walk you through the steps, step by step by step. So before we even get started, happy birthday, y'all. It's her birthday.
Woo! Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Oh, matter of fact, let me go ahead and get this out the way.
Oh,
happy birthday.
Thank you. Can I open it?
Sure
thank you. This is so sweet. But look, the bag's so pretty. I don't want to.
Oh. No, of course I have to get you Boss Woman.
Yes.
T-shirt.
Oh, I'm here for it. Gorgeous. Thank you. Look, I want to put it on. Okay. Oh, and it smells good in here. So look, I trust that this scent is gonna be February.
February. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Birthday girl.
That's a quality T-shirt
too. Your
You
birthday.
know what
I'm saying? Who's gonna come on their birthday? I'm gonna be partying somewhere. Nah, I don't party, but I'm gonna be traveling somewhere.
Doing something. Exactly.
Yes. So let's get started. So tell me, tell everybody who Tatiana Hall is and how did you get started in the mortgage lending industry?
So I am a Houstonian first. I'm God-fearing, a mom, family woman. Me and my husband will be celebrating almost 14 years this month as well. Wow. Marriage.
14. We made 14 this year too. No, we'll be 15 this year. We just made 14 in November.
Oh, congrats. So you get lucky number 14.
Yeah.
So listen, but that is who I am at the core of it. Really, I'm a servant, I'm an educator, I'm a learner, a lifelong learner. And so I just really took all of those things, comprised it with, who I am. who I want to be. And I said, you know what? I think that mortgages could be a tool for me to use to do that, because it helps me to really encompass all of the things that make me me.
For real.
Yeah.
You really are helping people.
Yeah. No, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long have you been in this field?
3.5 years. 3.5 years. That's
3.5 years.
A
so
long
when I met
3.5
you
years.
had just started.
I was fresh, probably, because I can't remember. I know how we met, but I can't remember how long ago it was. But yeah, probably spot on. So I got licensed in April of 2021 when I made the decision that I was going to leave the classroom. I mean, I started as a loan officer assistant in 2020, but in 2021, that's when I said, okay, buy a classroom. Like, this is going to be the thing I do full time.
Yeah, tell them about that crazy story about how we met, because that was like that was one of the weirdest
introductions.
Yeah.
I'm an overachiever. And so I had another realtor named Leilani Anderson.
And so crazy.
Right. So Leilani, she had a client. I had never met her, like face to face or whatever. And so all I had was a phone number for her. And I wanted to just really just make sure I kept her updated with what was going on, because I'm very thorough and meticulous. Like, this is the update.
Yeah, I see.
Talk to the client. And so I didn't have an email address for her. And I didn't have something, but whatever it was, I went to Trek.
Yeah.
And Trek gave me the details, which I think they just recently changed.
They did?
Yeah, I don't think we can stalk y'all no more. Your private information is not listed anymore. Yeah,
I didn't even notice that. I just went on hard trying to find somebody.
On Trek.
Oh, you went on Trek. Oh, so Trek changed it.
Trek, yeah. On Trek, you could typically look for your personal
it will tell you
email,
the home address, everything.
Yeah.
On there. Okay.
So I went. And I'm spelling Leilani the way I think you're supposed to spell Leilani.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it can't be too, like, that's not a common name.
Right.
So, and so I kept messaging her, and I'm like, she's not responding about this client. I mean, like, does she not want to do the work? Okay. And so, long story short, I ended up actually getting the right communication from the other realtor, Leilani, and she spells her name very uniquely. The other Leilani.
Different.
And so she spells it uniquely. And so I was like, oh, I was looking for the wrong person. So when I realized that I was messaging and reaching out to the wrong person the whole time, I was like, well, I might as well just introduce myself at this point.
Yeah. We ended up going to lunch and everything. And been connected ever since.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Networking by accident.
Right. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get started. I got some questions here for you.
Okay.
So for somebody that is interested in buying a house, and for those of you who don't know, because I never talk about this, I always talk about Boss Women Network, because we're all about helping women succeed in business, but I'm also a broker/realtor. So I have not been focused on the real estate side, but I'm about to jump back in.
But it's one of those things that you get to jump in and jump out of, and that's the beautiful part. Yeah.
Yeah, it has. But I'm ready to jump back in, but I want to jump back in on the luxury side.
Okay.
Because on that side, you can just do 3 deals a year and you're done. I mean, if you want to be done, you can.
Yeah, you get to set your pace.
Yeah, you can set your pace. It's just getting those clients and getting in that world. But for somebody that is just getting started and want to purchase a home, what are the first steps they need to do? Because a lot of times they think the first thing they need to do is contact me, the realtor. But that is really not the first step. The first step is to make sure you have the money and the correct finances and everything you need. So explain that to them.
Yeah, I'm the first step to your new doorstep, right? So, and a lot of people I realize too, I'm just speaking with my friends, like, they don't know what a loan officer is. Like, they're like, yeah, my friend a mortgage broker, but to them, they just hear I'm a realtor. So a lot of people, they don't even understand. They just equate money with a bank, and that's it. You know, like, they don't even realize that it's something in between, you actually getting the money in hand so you can sign your name on the dotted line. So you definitely want to reach out before you are ready, right? So not oh, my lease is up tomorrow and I need to figure this out. You want to reach out before you're ready. As soon as you start getting that inkling or that desire to say, I think that this may be something. So we got to start thinking for the long game.
So do you think like 6 months to a year?
Or sooner, right? Like, because honestly, think about it, right? So your daughter's here. So if at 13 your daughter was groomed with the mindset of what it takes to be a ready buyer, when she turns 18, she's already prepared, then she can make that decision. Because a lot of us, we end up scrambling to go get those keys. And when you scrambling, when you rushing, you make bad choices, bad decisions, costly choices, costly decisions. So put yourself in a driver's seat rather than on the passenger side by just getting ready before you're ready. So having conversations like these and actually entertaining them, that's step number one. So call me well before you're ready. Like, I'm cool with that. I offer home buyer courses. I love educating. I'm a teacher first, so I love educating. And I think that that's super important because I decided to get ready when it was time to be ready. And it was a whole bunch of headache and hassle. And
I bet.
Yeah, it was
you
a
own
lot.
2 properties, don't you?
I sold one.
You
So
sold
now
one.
I just own one now, but we sold it this year. But I was able to take a year off. So I had a daughter. She's a year. And I knew that, thank you. And I knew that I wanted to take some time off. And so I was like, well, I got equity in this property. I'm going to just sell it and let that be my little salary for the year. And I bought myself some time off with it.
That's good.
So that's what we did. And so now I'm back, back at it that she's a year and I'm ready to jump back in.
Oh, so so we jump in and out, but we back on.
You got it.
But anyway, so second step.
So step 2 is after you reach out, you learn what to do. Like, honestly, it's really simple, right? It's one of those things that's simple, but just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. Right? So it's simple. You pay attention to your credit score, pay your bills on time, like, period. Don't bite off more than you can chew. And start setting aside savings. If you do those things, if you do those little small things consistently, you'll be ready, right? The jobs, the consistency, like all that other stuff, it'll come. But if you start with the mindset of, let me pay my bills on time, let me not overextend myself. When I say overextend myself, like if my credit card is $1,000, then I need to not spend more than $300 on a card. You know what I mean? And I need to make sure I'm paying it back. If I don't have it, then I don't need it. But it's really hard for a lot of us to live below our means. And that's okay, because I'm guilty of it too. You know what I mean? But I also I walk a fine line. So I splurges. You know what I mean?
But then like, you hurry up and pay that stuff.
Right? Back. Yeah, I got things that I splurge on, but I got my non-negotiables. Like, no, that's not in the budget. So you know what I mean? So you got to be willing to do what it takes to make those lifestyle changes that'll be necessary. That's gonna prepare you really for your future. So pay attention to your credit, pay your bills on time, put a little money to the side to save, and you don't have to do anything drastic. Like $50, like that's $600 at the end of the year. Like, if you start that, by the time I'm just saying, like, it adds up.
People's main question to me is, how much savings do I need to have in the bank? Plus, how much do I need to be able to have to put down, and what my credit score need to be?
Well, how much you need to have is relative. You know what I'm saying? So, but the percentage, typically 3.5% is what you're going to look to put down. Now, I'm also, if I'm honest, I'll help all homeowners, but I'm also kind of niching into this market that I've been real privy to, and that's entrepreneurs. So when I'm helping my entrepreneurial clients, I'm noticing though that they kind of don't have the credit or the assets. So when you are an entrepreneur, it's going to cost you a lot more skin in the game if you want to go the non-traditional route. So what I mean by that is, you're going to have to pay somebody when you purchasing a house. You're either going to have to pay Uncle Sam, because you're going to have to file your taxes correctly and appropriately so we can use your Schedule Cs and your tax returns to show your income. Or you can give your money to your house and pay a little bit and pay more in your down payment. So so if we go that route, we need about 10% to put down. We need about 10%.
That's not as bad as 20.
Yeah, it's still better than 20, right? But that's for me to just look at your bank statements for 12 months. So that's for me to use like, maybe you have really crazy assets. You got a trust fund or something. Like, that's for me to use your assets. Because the people, I notice with a lot of entrepreneurs, they play with big money, but they spend it as fast as they make it. I noticed that. Like, I mean, I'm looking at the accounts and I'm like,
damn, you spending.
But I'm like, you make it. They making it, but they spend it as fast as they get it. So that again goes back to the mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta get out that mindset of just, I'm making it. You gotta put something to the side, because none of us know how life gonna pan out.
True.
None of us. True. So save something for a rainy day so you can figure that out.
So what about the entrepreneurs that been in business maybe 2 years? usually after 2 years, sometimes the business can pop off, but sometimes it's slow.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have like every month income. Sometimes it's this month, sometimes it's this month, sometimes it's nothing.
Yeah.
But they got some income coming in.
Yeah.
But then they may have like 60,000 in savings or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe 40. I'm gonna say 40,000 in savings. But their credit score, are they looking at the business credit score, or are they looking at the personal credit?
So it's gonna be your personal property. If you purchase a home, even if you transfer it into your business, I know a lot of people like buy a house with your business. You can transfer it into your business's name, but you're purchasing a property, especially a residential property. You're purchasing it in your name,
business, personal
in
name.
your name.
Okay.
You can then transfer it, transfer the ownership to your business, but at the time of purchase, if you're financing it, it's in your name. Okay. So they're looking at your credit. So even if we do a DSCR, so DSCR is like for the investment properties. Like I'm buying a house as an investor. I don't want to live here. That's typically gonna be 25%. You got to put down. Okay. But we use the income based upon the actual property. Okay. So how much does this property stand to make? What are you gonna rent it for? Does it need repairs, or is it already repaired? With those all those things that factor in, and we'll base it off your credit score with the 25%. So we cash heavy and we got it. But for most of us, it's I'm a barber, I'm a hairstylist,
yeah, that's the ones
I'm a nail tech, right? Like, I'm just a hustler, whatever your hustle is. I know ladies sell candles. She was at your event, matter of fact. Like, yeah, I'm the candle lady. Like, and that's amazing. So if for those of us, we do need to have some savings. That's where we want to look at, getting the scores above 680 and higher. We really want to start having superb credit, because if I'm not asking you for details about how you make your money, because that's essentially I'm not gonna ask you. Not really. I'm not gonna ask you for 2 years of this and I'm not gonna ask you for that. I'm gonna ask you for one thing. Give me 12 months of your bank statements. We're gonna use that to calculate your income average over the last 12 months, and then we'll determine that average and say that that's what you make. If that's all I'm asking you for, I need to know that you pay your bills on time. The only way I know that is if your credit
score is at the 700, like
680 and higher.
Okay.
So now, if you wanna, you can get it for lower than you can get it with a score lower than that. The rate's gonna probably be high regardless, no matter what. But you can't focus on the rate. You know what I'm saying? Because think about this: if you get offered a credit card, you're not asking what's the interest rate on that.
No, you're not really.
You're not. Not really. When you have to buy a car, you're not like, I ain't buying no car. The interest rate. No, I need the vehicle. Yeah. So we gotta kind of get out that mindset too, because it's about what we need. Because it's ways around paying the interest down. We could pay more to the principal. You know what I'm saying? Like it's ways around that. So we can't let that part be the focus. But that down payment changes if my credit score is lower. So if I'm under that 700, if I'm out the 700 club, and I'm trying to go with the programs I'm talking about for my entrepreneurs, now I'm looking at 15, 20, 25% down. Because you can get the house, but you need money.
Yeah, you got to put a lot
You know what
down.
I mean? And if you don't want to do that, if you want to have that happy medium where I'm able to put down 10%, it probably may or may not require me to have reserves, but I want to put that money down. I need to kind of have something saved up to the side and pay attention to my credit.
So they may or may not require you to have reserves?
Yeah, so typically they will require you to have reserves, but it really just depends on your score. Just being really transparent.
So 700, how much reserve usually they want you to have, paying 10% down?
So it could be anywhere from 3 months is kind of average and standard. 3 months is kind of average and standard, but it could go up to 24 months. It just really depends on your credit.
What?
It depends on your credit, because again, remember, people that have a lot of money, that just because they have a lot of money don't mean they're wise with their money choices.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And don't mean the credit is good.
Right.
Money. That's because they paying everything cash a lot of times.
Exactly.
They ain't worried about no credit.
Exactly. So you just gotta factor that in.
Oh my goodness. So you're basically now transitioning. You're not really you will work with the average home buyer, but you're mainly focusing on the entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I help everybody. Okay. But it's a lot of entrepreneurs, they keep coming my way. My husband's an entrepreneur. Fortunately, I was a W-2 employee when we decided to purchase, but I know the struggle. You know what I mean? And they honestly, they come in my way. And I'm telling a lot of people like you, we can't approve you right now. This is what the strategy is. So I'm actually putting together a course that I'm putting it together now. So you can check that. It should be ready second quarter of the year. year. It's called Homeownership for Hustlers. Okay.
I like that.
Homeownership for Hustlers, because I want to start getting you in the mindset that you need to let's figure this out. If you got kids, you start thinking in 10th grade. You don't wait till they senior year to say, oh, I need to start putting money to the side for graduation and prom. No, when they hit high school, you start going, oh, shoot, I need to start thinking. So you got to just kind of adopt that same mindset. So I want to just start educating my hustlers, my entrepreneurs a lot earlier in the game, so that when they're ready, they able to pull the trigger.
That's good, because a lot of entrepreneurs be so confused about how can they buy a property if they don't have the W-2 and they're not filing. I mean, they filing the taxes, but they like to write off a lot of different things so they don't have to owe so much at the end of the year. So is that what you're advising them on? No, you don't be writing off so much.
Well, so you can write it off, because see, to me, listen, you got to pay somebody. Right. So if I were an entrepreneur, I'm keep eating my mic, but if I were an entrepreneur and I know that I'm gonna have to pay somebody $20,000, $30,000, like if I know I got to pay this chunk of change, I'd rather pay it to myself and put it in my property.
Right.
Right,
like paying the IRS.
Right. I'd rather keep writing it off if I know that it's a lender over here that only wants to see my bank statements or only wants to see what my assets look like. I'm gonna go and put the $30,000 in the bank instead of giving it away to Uncle Sam that didn't do anything to earn my hard-earned money.
Okay, that's a good tip to know, because a lot of people think, gosh, I can't write off so much this year because I want to try to buy a house, so I'm gonna have to pay in taxes instead of writing all this stuff off at the end of the year.
Right.
So that's a good tip to know.
Right.
So like you were saying, so basically, what if somebody is a music artist and they're not getting paid every month? Their money is sporadic.
That's okay. We still take the average. So it doesn't matter. We take the average. So whatever that average is, that's kind of what we'll base it on. And then I'm a mortgage broker. So what that means is I don't work for a bank. I work for people. I have relationships with over 72 banks. Okay. And so with me being able to connect with 72 banks, and my broker is actually my broker owner, the one that owns the broker shop I'm with. He sits on boards for different banks, okay, and he's also the president-elect for NAREB, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers.
Oh,
okay. So we've been doing this over 30 years. You know what I'm saying? So we got a wealth of experience and true connections. Okay. With that being said, we got an avenue out there for you to get it done, but you just can't come limping to the table, which is why I want to start this homeownership for hustlers, so I can really get people to get ready before it's time.
Okay, another question. Married couple, but they don't want, I know it's still community property, but they don't want to buy the property and in each other's, with both of them on the deed. One person wants to buy the house.
Yeah, so
how does that work?
I mean, legally, there's really no way around it, because after, like, I can tell you as the lender, I can say, oh yeah, sure, no problem, we can make it work. But when they run the title search, they're gonna run the search. They're gonna search for all your information, like as far as who you are as a person, your identity. When the title company, because the title company is still involved, even though I have this different loan product, the title company still has to be there. When they do their search and they find it and they say, I need your spouse's information. I need your spouse's information too, so we can include it in the deed. Okay.
So married couples, when you buy, you can't buy separately. You have to have both the person's names on the deed.
Well, just legally, you have the deed. I don't need their finances or their financial information, but they do legally own the property with you. Now, my broker is, working with different legal entities, and they've actually been in conversations with that. So it's called FHFA, right? And so they're one of the regulators for just the housing market and things of that nature that sets the big rules. So when I'm talking about these non-QM, non-qualified mortgages, right? So these bank statement programs, small banks, they still, they own the loan, and so they get to make their own rules, but they still are governed by certain organizations, right? So we don't have private lenders, the only ones that get to go rogue and do what they want. That's why I can charge you 15%, interest. You know what I mean? Other than that, you can't go. You still have, it's kind of like charter schools. You know what I mean?
They still have to buy.
So it's kind of like
I do what they want, but
I still got some rules. I have the parameters. Okay. So with that being said, Texas is a community property state, so it's not that's not really a lender thing. It's a state thing. But with that being said, too, my broker is in the works with actually, FHFA discussing that, and him and a whole bunch of other people. Like, so it's legalities that's kind of happening because they're challenging that, because it's just like, why am I responsible for their debt that I don't get to use their money? That's a barrier to home ownership.
Right.
Like, if my spouse had that, I don't get to use their money. That's a barrier to home ownership.
Right.
Like, if my spouse had to do with me and I'm not able to count their income. Like, you know what I mean? So no, if it's separate, let it be separate. Especially since there are states that don't fall into that same guise. So that's kind of where one of the federal regulation needs to come in. So now that we do have different federal administration, they may or may not take a lot longer, because a lot more power has been granted to the states to kind of make their own choice.
Well, that was some good information. That's a good tip for married couples. I have been seeing that, on Instagram. I think it was Instagram or something, social media, where it was some mortgage lenders advising people, married couples, go ahead and invest in those properties before you get married, because you get better rates, and then it's different. And then once you get married, y'all can buy a property together, but make sure you buy some properties individually first.
I mean, listen, you do what works for you and your household, truthfully. That's just the honest to God truth, because two heads are better than one, two incomes are better than one. You know what I mean? So that's not necessarily going to be good advice for everybody, but I'm sure that's great advice for some people, So, but you do need to be mindful of, who am I marrying? What does your credit score look like? Do you have outstanding debts? Are there judgments against you? Right? We got to start looking at marriage for the business side of what it is.
People don't understand that marriage is a business.
Legally.
Outside of all the love and the fun and all that stuff, because people don't understand, it's deeper than just.
Listen, 14 years
14 years.
Listen, that's just the married part. So I know it's way longer than that. So with that being said, like, love, it come and go, it's up, it's down. Like, that changes.
It sure does.
But it's the willingness to work through it. It's just like it's like going to work. Some days you love it and some days you don't.
Most definitely.
So that's what we need to start looking at our lives in all sincerity as business. We put a lot of value to other people's business, our employers, our jobs, everybody else around us, but we don't hold our same lives in that same regard. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
That's so true. So be careful who you marry out there, y'all. Make sure you actually friends first. Otherwise,
and get to know them. Because friends are not, though. Like, if they bad money handlers, like, that may be a problem.
That is a problem. Yeah. But I'm not gonna lie, my husband was a bad money handler, but by me being his friend. Had I not been his friend, that would have been a non-negotiable.
Y'all met at 13, though. That's different.
Yeah.
you feel me? Like, you expect him to be bad at that, at 13. And y'all were children when y'all met.
When we met. But but as adults, he was not.
But that's what I'm just saying. You had no choice but to be there on a journey.
Right. I was willing to go through that journey. But that's why I say, like, friendship. Because even if I'd have met him at 13, but I wasn't his friend, I wouldn't have cared about. I've been like, nah,
but I don't know. It's gonna hit different. You 39, 40 years old, and you still not thinking about it. You may need my help, my guidance, and my support, and I may be, able and willing to offer that. But we need that mindset. That's what I'm saying. We need that mindset.
Your
to be different.
Mindset has to be there, and you have to be willing to grow with your person. Because sometimes people just aren't all the way there when you first get there. They're everybody raised differently. Some people were taught certain things and some people wasn't. That's why I say the friendship really matters. Because if you're really their friend, you're willing to grow with them. If whatever your knowledge is, you're willing to teach them, and vice versa. But sometimes if the friendship isn't there, you just like them on the surface. That some stuff just non-negotiables. Off the top.
That's so true. And no, that's true.
And you're not willing to go through a lot of the ups and downs because at times like those times where you say sometimes you don't like your mate,
Mm-hmm.
but the friendship is still there.
Yep.
So you love them unconditionally.
You don't always like everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The friendship is still
and sometimes you're not always likable.
Yes.
To be honest, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that matters. But we kind of got off topic a little bit. But
no, I like the topic because really it all plays into mortgages, and that's really why I'm here. Like it's a bigger picture. We're talking about building a home, like all your family dynamics, all of these things, they play a part into you even considering home ownership. And when we broaden our perspective in that way, then we'll start looking at and changing the lens on how we view home ownership. True. It's not just something to do. It's not just an American dream. It's my dream. This is my nest egg. This is something for my family, but I have to have the mindset right. You know what I mean? It's just almost like, you know, because I know one of the topics that you had on there was just like managing motherhood,
right,
and business. And I'm gonna say this, that, you know, I thank God on a daily basis, pretty much, you know, that I was able to have my mind in a different place before I started having children. I know all of us aren't fortunate to do that.
Right.
But I was so grateful for that, because it was something, honestly, I had low-key kind of prayed for. Like I wanted to be at least on my healing journey as a human, you know what I mean, before I brought a life in.
That's smart.
So I could show them that. And so when we put that same thought process into home ownership, it makes the value like really meaningful. You know what I mean? It makes us not make bad financial decisions and be more mindful.
You had your plan together early.
I mean, I had a plan. I won't say it was together.
She talking about, I mean.
I wouldn't say it was together, but I had a thought about, you know what I mean? And that's the biggest difference. It wasn't perfect. It definitely came with stress, struggle, and everything in between, but it gave me the ability to be wiser about my choices, be grateful for the journey, to be okay with the no's, and to utilize the time, because it took us years to get the credit, the money, the savings. It took us years to do that. It took us years. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of people, we got this microwave mentality. You know what I'm saying? We just wake up, I want to buy a house. I'm supposed to get it tomorrow. You know, no, we got to work for it.
Also, some of these couples think that it's best to have this big grand wedding. Were you one of those?
I did have a big grand wedding, but it was only $12,000. Which was a lot. I was 24.
I'm like, only? Did you already own a house?
Heck no.
So what would you have done? Would you have done anything differently?
Yeah, big time. Because my husband, he kept saying, listen, we were struggling. I'm not gonna lie, like he probably gonna look at this and be like, girl, why you putting our business out there? But it is what it is. We were struggling, especially towards the end, to like make them final payments, but my ego got in the way, and it was just like, yeah, but this the day we said, we told everybody, and the invitations went out. I'm worried about everybody else who ain't worried about me. And you know black folks, you spend $50 per head, and they get you a $10 gift, or don't get you money at all. Don't get you nothing at all. So, you know, but I was worried and concerned with what everybody else had to say and everybody else's opinion. But again, I was 24, right? I was 24 years old, fresh out of, just really trying to figure out my life, just recently graduated college and trying to find my footing. So I was just in love, and that's all I cared about. And I just, I saw the American dream in that viewpoint. So if I could go back and change something, in all sincerity, I would have listened to my husband, because he was like, look, let's just push it back a year and give ourselves time to extend the payments, and whatever that costs, we'll be able to do it because we can be comfortable. Because my husband's favorite saying is, you gotta crawl before you walk. Yeah. He said about everything. You gotta crawl before you walk. Y'all just want to get up and run. You gotta crawl before you walk. So I would have made a different decision. But again, my wedding was beautiful. But yeah, and listen, the fallout was real, because after that, I think we stayed in that house for that apartment for maybe like 2 or 3 more months. Then we moved back with my mama.
Oh
had
my
to get on my
goodness.
foot. Like,
Oh my goodness.
listen, I'm just being honest.
That's but that's not abnormal because a lot of young couples do that because they even me, we didn't do that because when we were younger, like in our 20s, I wanted to do that. He wanted to get married, but I didn't want to get married yet until we had a big wedding. And so we'd end up not getting married till we were later on.
So he just cared about, I want to have you to have my last name. And you was like, I want the show.
Yeah. But so when you're young, you're not even thinking about that. And then later when we got married, we didn't even do that. We just went to the courthouse because none of that stuff even matters.
It don't.
At the end of the day, you spend all this money when that money could be a down payment on y'all's house.
Yeah.
Somewhere for y'all to actually live. And a lot of young people don't think about that. And they don't understand the stress of that after the fact. And then you end up separating. Ooh. Because all the financial problems, you're thinking about love and you going into the marriage, think about love. And then after the fact, we're thinking we spent all this money on this and we don't even have a place to stay or we don't even have any money. I'm barely even making this kind of money. And then, men, they even worse about that money stuff than us. Because we be excited about all the glitz and all this. And we so optimistic and so positive, but they're looking at the future and the long haul and the long run of this decision that we made. And sometimes financial situations can tear apart relationships if it's not strong enough. So that's some advice for y'all young couples. Make sure y'all strong and make sure you make the best decision. Don't just jump trying to have this big, huge wedding.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And because honestly, it's a big ball of stress. To be quite honest, people get ugly acting and show their true color. Listen, it's a whole bunch of unnecessariness. Now again, I won't say I regret it. You know what I mean? But I will say that hindsight is 2020, and I would definitely advise my kids to do different.
Right.
And just knowing kind of what I know, that's where I'm like, okay, well, let's figure out how can we have a nest egg so that this thing is not stressful if you decide to make that decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Going into the marriage, stressing each other out so soon. Y'all supposed to be in honeymoon and enjoying each other and having fun and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so we still went into it stressful. But I think when y'all love each other,
you figure it
out. It's gonna be stress. I don't care if it comes at the first year or the 10 years or the 20th year.
It never is.
Point, it's going to be something.
It never is. It's always something. But it's worth it. It's just like your kid, anybody you love, your kids, your parents. Like it's work. And then especially when you remember about yourself, sometimes I'm the one that's the problem. Sometimes I'm not lovable or likable. And they still love and like me, or they forgive me for the things I do. It kind of open up your perspective.
Yeah. So home ownership is deeper than just buying a house. Especially when you're a couple. So make sure y'all paying attention to this advice, y'all. Pay attention. Okay, so next question. What did you say? How do you juggle it being a mom and being in business and things like that?
Girl.
How do you juggle that? My kids are homeschooled, so it's a little bit easier.
Mine are not homeschooled, and I feel like that's easier because I actually
get a time of breakaway.
I get time to actually go and do things, and they are away. But I will say, it is a struggle to juggle. It is. You never feel like you're doing enough. Business really never stops because it's a baby too.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're splitting yourself thin. But I will say, the fact that I have the ability to be present in my kids' lives is everything. So they already, the expectation for their games, they lunch programs, morning whatever it is, it don't matter
because you don't have to go to work.
And not just me, like we showing up, so that's the part that makes me go, okay, well, it's really all worth it. But no, it's a lot because entrepreneurship is very hard, for real. Because I was telling my husband, stepping out on faith and becoming a mortgage broker was very difficult for me and surprising too, because I was groomed to be an employee. I went to college. I was groomed to have a job, honey, and get a check on this date and no, predictability.
What is your degree in?
Family and consumer science. Studying people. So you
still doing it.
Yeah, I study people. Study people in the way people move, purchase, and grow. And that's actually what I taught when I was a teacher in high school. So so the baby class, cooking, just family stuff.
I can see you being a teacher. We still working over there? Yeah.
Yeah. So, with that being said, though, balancing it is hard. It's hard. You know, like really trying to figure out how to manage your time, but it's truthfully every day you just keep improving. You know, I ain't knock it out today. Let me do better tomorrow.
I know it's hard because you have a small one. I remember those days.
I got
Good
three
Lord.
small. I got 10. One just turned 6 on Valentine's Day, and one. They all little. Like I can't leave any of them unattended for too long, and without getting in trouble.
No, but that 1-year-old, oh my God, that's.
And so my older two, they were playing. She was a shock. That's why I had to stop work for a year to really wrap my head around. Oh,
you got your girl though. You got your girl.
I did, and she runs me, girl.
I bet. Are you having any more?
No,
I bet.
I'm for sure this time. If a shot comes, then call me Mary. My name will change to Mary, because
I understand, because I was done after my son. I was like, that's it. I'm not doing anymore. Because being a mom and trying to be go to work and be in business and things like that was stressful, because you're always having to take off work because somebody's always sick at school and all these different things.
And you're just the first point of contact.
And just the first point of contact. Yeah. And dads
they try,
but it's always mom.
They're not nurturers.
Come and get. Mom has to go stop what she's doing every time. Leave work to go do this. So yeah, I'm so glad that they're older now. Now they stay at home by themselves.
You ain't gotta rub it in.
I'm giving you something to look forward to.
That's true.
Because it's definitely something to look forward to. Because that postpartum depression,
oh God,
you're probably still in that phase, because it lasts for like 5 years. The first 5.
Maybe.
You talking about maybe? Do you be having little spells?
Yeah, I'm over here thinking like, yeah, I kind of have been, but
not even realizing it, because you're still going and you're not giving yourself a chance to even notice that's what you be going through.
Right.
Because for me, it was like I went through it right after I had her, and then 3 years later I had my son. So it's like I never did get past that one. Then I started another one, and for a woman that can be a little challenging.
Yeah,
because you still have expectations of yourself, things you want to accomplish, things you want to do, and then it affects you mentally and spiritually
and
sometimes.
Physically.
Yeah. Yes, you know what I'm saying. And then as you get older, it starts to affect you even more, because your body starts going through changes as you get older. So it's like, man.
Yeah.
So so I know that is something that you were going through.
So how do you balance? Well, how did you balance motherhood, especially during the motherhood and entrepreneurship, especially during the younger years?
A lot of crying.
Okay. Thank you for that.
I did a lot.
I had a good cry this morning on my birthday. I did. It was a good one. It was a cleansing cry.
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of crying, because it was very, very hard for me at that point.
Yeah.
I was going through a lot of depression and it was up and down, up and down, up and down, because you want to do so much. I had, when I had her, like I was working in my master's program, and I went to school all the way up until I was like 9 months pregnant, in class, trying to finish the program, having to keep walking out of the class because it was too much. Till I was like 9 months pregnant. So I kept having to walk out of class, come back, walk out, come back, but I finished like, so right after I had her, I'm at graduation with her or whatever. Yeah. But so after that, it's like, what am I gonna do? Like I went to school, I've done all these things. Like, what am I gonna do now? I got these 2. She's only 3. I mean, once I had the other one, she was 3, and then he was a baby, and I'm like, dang, like I got this 3. I'm finished school. I'm like, what am I do? Like I haven't had another baby, and he wasn't playing. And so it was like, dang, I was mad. I blamed it on my husband.
Oh, me too. Don't leave me hanging, girl. Me too.
I blamed it on him. I was mad. I was almost wanting to separate because I was so mad. I was like, dang, I done just Man, so yeah, they don't be
Because
understanding.
you give so much of yourself,
Yeah.
like literally.
Yes, they don't understand.
I can't do the things I like to do. I can't drink. Like, I can't. My body change. Everything's different.
And not even, and through that process, then after you have the kids, and then, they're little. So all in the middle of the nights waking up because they want mommy, pamper changing, bottles. It's like 24-hour attention that they require versus big kids. It's like I finally get a break.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for this 10-year-old.
Yes,
so, yeah.
Just imagine both.
Almost 10.
My son is 10 now. The youngest is 10, and then she's 13.
Oh, so yeah, you good because you're like, I got independent kids. I got to do stuff, but
yeah, they can go in there and fix their own little snack. Still cook or whatever, but they can wash dishes. They don't bother me really. One is in their room, she in her room, and they're just doing their own thing.
Yeah.
As long as they do their schoolwork, we're good.
Yeah.
So it's fun. We trips together now. Like now that I am attached. I can't travel without them.
Okay.
Couples like to go do couple things.
Yeah.
We'll do couple things in the city, but when it comes to going out of town, it's not happening without my kids.
I'm not mad at that. I'm gonna be taking mine out the country for the first time next year. We're going to renew our vows.
Oh, that's so cool.
In Jamaica, and this time it's in the budget. But I'm over here nervous, right? Because I'm like, oh God, I'm going to be traveling out the country with these little children. Help me, Jesus.
But they are small. So are you gonna take your parents or somebody with
Everybody's coming.
Oh well, you gonna have it. That's gonna be a lot easier.
That's why. That's the only reason. That's the reason why, because everybody, you gotta come. You have to come.
Yeah, that's a lot easier. It's not. That's gonna be piece of cake.
Yeah. But no, it is beautiful to watch them grow, and I know that you probably still look at your babies and be like, I remember when you were a little, baby.
It gets sad because I be missing when they were that little. Then I'm thinking she's 13, so it's not gonna be long before she, excuse me, is out of the house. And I'm not one of those parents that's excited about the kids to grow up and be an empty nester and all that. So I be hearing women be like, I'm so glad my daughter or my son is almost 18. They're gonna be gone. I get to go do my thing. I'm not one of those. I'm gonna be sad.
You enjoy your motherhood.
I'm gonna be sad when they leave. I don't want them to go. I told her I don't want you to ever move out. You don't have to ever go.
I know that's right. And she over there like, girl, I'ma stay. I'ma stay. But I am gonna leave one day. But I'ma stay.
She's been talking about it, calculating how much it costs for this, how much rent costs, how much this. And once she figured out how much everything costs, she was like, well, I probably will stay a little bit. A little long. I'm not gonna rush too fast.
I know that's right. Because
I ain't gonna lie, I rushed out too fast.
That's what I was telling her earlier. Like, enjoy 13. 13 was beautiful. Yeah. No worries, no kids,
no bills, none of that. Just carefree. But they don't understand. They so ready to rush out there and just be ready to
we were free. Too.
Yeah, I know. And I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. Trying to get out there and be an adult too soon. Stressing, paying all them doggone bills.
Ain't nothing out there.
Okay, we got totally off the mortgage side, but it's okay because we don't have to talk about mortgage the whole time. But so what current mortgage trends should buyers and investors be aware of?
Girl, if I'm honest with you, the way the world look right now,
it is kind of scary.
The way the world look right now. No, listen. I just saw it's in the news right now that they're supposed to be, doing something with the CFPB, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureaus. Those are the people who ensure that credit agencies can't just have crazy stuff on your credit report and things of that nature. It's a whirlwind. So honestly, I'm not a person that pay attention to trends because to me, I'm a timeless person, right? And so I don't really focus on the trends. I do have a product though right now that is available. So it's 100% grant. Okay. The grant is a thing. So I will get you down payment assistance if you want to use it. Because again, I work for you, not the bank. So whatever you want, I will do it. But I'm going to advise you what it looks like when you do it. I have 100% grant. So what a grant means is that you do not have to pay it back. It is non-repayable. It is free money. A lot of the times, down payment assistance is not. But this grant that I have, it would be an FHA loan, and it could be used for properties up to 4 units. So a single family home, a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex.
Oh,
You
cool.
would need to occupy one of the units because it would be
Mm-hmm.
an FHA loan. Okay, but yeah, free money, 3.5%
Oh, that's
down
good.
payment. Mm-hmm.
So how do they sign up for that for people that want to?
Call me, message me. Actually, go to mortgagelinkqueen.com because that's really the best way. Start the mortgage application. Like, start that application. It's okay if you don't have the answers. Just begin the process. That lets me know I need to reach out to you. And honestly, it keeps me accountable and on my toes because I am a mom. And so for me, one of the boundaries I really have to set for myself is that sometimes my phone will be off.
Yeah,
That's just the
at a
truth.
certain
And so
time.
I may not answer the phone. And, it may be best for you to, when you get off work at 10 o'clock, to go ahead and
Oh
start the
yeah.
mortgage application.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be able to reach out to you, though, right? Because now I have a sense of urgency because it's in my system, right? So
Right.
once it's in my system, I'm being watched. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Right.
and but honestly though, like now it matters what I do. So that helps me to stay accountable to you, and it also gives you the ability to reach out whenever it's most convenient for you. So
That's good.
mortgagelinkqueen.com.
Mortgage Link, LINK,
Mm-hmm.
queen.com. What about credit? Do you help them with credit or have somebody that can
I
help?
have, yeah. So Taquana Clark at Credit Lift Inc. is one of my number one go-tos for credit restoration. She's how we having this easygoing conversation. She's gonna explain it to you, break it down just like I'm doing. Very personable, and her story starts from her, her own struggle and getting
Oh, okay.
herself to where she needs
Well,
to
that's
be now.
good. That's good.
And so, and if I'm real honest, she's somebody that I trust.
Oh,
Because
that's
when you
good.
think about credit, you think about lending money, all that stuff, anything dealing with your social, you get a little leery
Yeah, by
because,
giving your information out
yeah,
to people.
because like, yeah, can I trust this person? So she's somebody that I trust. I do have other credit companies that I work with too, but again, the truth of the matter is there's really no secret out here. She's gonna give you the basic tools that I gave you. Now she's gonna go the extra mile and actually write letters and get old things off from maybe decisions and stuff that you've made before. But again, if you do the application, I'll be able to pull your credit. I can, give you surface advice and tell you what to do, but she'll be able to go in and tell you strategically, like do this, and this happens. Like what that timeline looks like if you want to be aggressive.
So, what are the main things that the bank don't want to see on your credit?
Late payments,
Well, we know late payments outside of that.
bankruptcy,
Okay.
mortgage late. That's a no. No
No late
mortgage
rent
late.
payments. No late mortgage
Well,
payments.
rent is not going to be as crucial, right?
Why?
Because rent is not really reported on your credit report. Mortgage is.
You have to sign up for it to be
Yeah.
reported on your
Even
credit.
still though, they don't really look at that. Now
Really?
it may require me to use your rent history. So when you sign up for them to do that, it will boost your score, so you benefit from that. But as far as us actually reviewing it, I don't care.
Really? So rental history doesn't really play a factor in it, but your mortgage does.
Now, rental and history still is important though, because sometimes it may be something called a verification of rent that may be required. Where it just really, so like if you're a first time home buyer, you just graduated, whatever the case may be, or you haven't lived by yourself, whatever. It's just small nuance things. It may say that we need to do a verification of rent. Well, we need to, go in and take a look at that, or maybe I might need to do like what's called a manual credit report that I may have to build for you. And what that means is that I do stuff. I have, I pay rent, but I just pay them to stay in this room. I have a cell phone. I just, I pay it at Boost Mobile in cash. So we can build a credit, as well. So I'm not saying pay your rent late, but it's not going to be as impactful. But yeah, so late payments, honestly, that's the biggest thing. Collections, they do hurt you.
What type of collections? All collections?
Well, all collections hurt your score.
Medical bills?
Well, they still hurt your score. Medical payments are not. They hurt your score, so they still matter.
Right.
But as far as your debt to income ratio, we don't care about medical bills.
Okay.
But the damage is already done to your score.
Okay. College.
Student loans, well, they like to see student loans, but they do hurt your debt to income ratio, right? So I would strongly advise most of you, look at your student loans, however much you owe in full. Okay, I don't have a calculator in front of me, but however much you owe in full, okay, take that number, so whatever it is, 20,000, 13,000, 6,000, whatever.
130,000.
Okay, take that number and times it, multiply it by point, oh my gosh, 0.55. I mean, yeah, 0.5%. Mm-hmm. 0.5%. 0.5, hit the percent button. Whatever that number is, that's how much I have to say that you have to pay back every month. So if that number,
but what about the people that are deferring it every month?
Then if you don't have a payment, that's how I have to do it. 0.5% of your total balance. Mm-hmm. So once you do that, maybe can you go to your calculator? Is that possible?
Let me see.
Do quick math real quick and listen. Hey, TikTok.
What is the calculator on this damn thing? Let's see. It's okay. Online calculator.
That'll work. All right. So you said 130,000. Mm-hmm. All right. So when we times that by 0.5%, girl, this a bougie calculator. Girl, let me go back and do my. Wait a minute, I'll get. Girl, not. Oh, there go the percent button. I'm sorry. We're gonna edit this part out.
Okay.
Oh no, that's fine. They can really stop just joking. All right, so times 0.5%. So we got 0.5. All right.
Because I know it's
so that's $650. Okay, because I'm not a mathematician. You don't have to be. I know how to work a calculator. Just know that. Okay, so that's $650 that I would have to say. So if you have a deferred payment, you truly aren't paying them. But I would have to equate that to say $650 is what you're going to pay every month.
Oh, okay.
And here's the logic behind that. Okay, because what the lender is thinking is, okay, listen, you're going to have this mortgage for 30 years. Eventually, you're going to get on your feet and have no choice but to pay back your student loan. Right? So you can't defer it forever. So we need to be able to be prepared for when the time comes that you need to pay it. Because if not, then when it comes down the line 15 years, now you're going to foreclose on a house and I'm going to be out my money.
Right. So they guesstimate.
Exactly. So what I would do is do that math, mm-hmm. like I just did. And if you were to call your student loan servicer and say, hey, I want to do a payment plan. I want to do a payment plan. What would that cost me? If you do the math and it's less than and it's less than that $650, sign up for the payment plan. Mm-hmm. You really do have to pay them now, and you can think about this once you get ready to buy the house.
I'm not doing no payment plan. We're gonna keep deferring it.
Well, I'm just saying, if you already got your house, but I'm saying,
but they want $1,000 a month.
Well, see, in that case, then keep deferring it and let me do the $650.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But sometimes the case is that the monthly payment, especially if you have like income-driven repayment plans and things of that nature, mm-hmm. sometimes the monthly payment is actually lower than what it is that I have to calculate. Right. So that's why I gave you the calculation.
That's good.
0.5% total debt amount. So if you owe 130,000, times 0.5, hit the 0.5, hit the percent button and hit equal. It's going to tell you what that dollar amount is. And so if that number is more than what your monthly payment would be, you might want to do the installment plan. But if it's less than, like you said, that's fine. Y'all can say I pay $650 if you want
to. Can. Okay. So that's good information to have.
Yeah.
So y'all school students, all of y'all that don't know,
it used to be 1%, girl. Mm. But the Biden administration, they had changed that to 0.5%.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Used to be 1%.
Trump probably gonna change it again, knowing him.
Well, I don't know, girl.
He's changing all this stuff. I don't know what's going.
He may or may not.
What's gonna happen with this man?
I honestly, I just turn on the TV a little less and less because I just gotta focus on what's in front of me. Yeah, I gotta focus on what's in front of me.
So we're gonna take a break and we're gonna be right back before we close out. All right, y'all, we are back. We're getting ready to close out in a minute. So what kind of tips do you have to give to somebody that is looking to buy before they get out of here, before we get out?
Hit me up. Like, honestly, I can give you general advice all day long, but the best way is to get a a personalized game plan for yourself. And the way you do that is by starting a mortgage application. I may have to give you a no, but I like to call it a not right now.
Not right now.
So that you can get your strategy together, and then that signs me up to be your accountability partner. So I get to follow up with you and say, hey, how we looking? Where we going? What are things looking like? Because I think we all need a little help sometimes with just reminders, holding our hands, especially when life just gets crazy. Because for most of us, we know what to do, but we struggle with doing it. Yeah, I know I do.
Most definitely. I think that's us all.
Yeah.
What else I want to say before we get out of here? What are you gonna do for your birthday? We didn't say that on camera. What are we doing for our birthday today? Because y'all, today is her birthday.
Listen, I don't really have any plans. My husband's supposed to take me to out to eat to dinner tonight, so we probably gonna go house or something.
That sounds
but other than that, be alive and be blessed. Cause listen, the turn up hit different when, like I said, you got just stuff, kids. My values in life, they just look different right now. This year is just one of those years, Plus, next year, because our anniversary, my husband's birthday is this month too. So our anniversary, and our anniversary is this month as well. So
gosh,
so we're gonna go
a lot of celebrations.
And my son was on Valentine's Day, so we really busy.
Lord.
So we really focused on 26, because that'll be our 15 year when we're planning for our vow renewal. So that's the big thing. So I'm low key this year.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Understandable. Yeah, y'all got that big thing going on. They're gonna vow renew way in Jamaica, right?
Yes, I'm excited.
How exciting is that?
Very. Because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted a destination with my husband wanted local. Understandably, he wanted like the grandparents and all that good stuff there. But I wanted the vow. I wanted the local. The destination. So yeah, I'm excited.
I have to talk to my husband about that.
Tell him y'all should come.
I told him we talked about this some years back. We were supposed to renew our vows once we hit the 15 mark, and this is the 15 mark. Mm-hmm. So maybe we might think about doing that this year.
You should.
We might. But we're not going to do anything big and courageous because we've been taking a lot of trips lately. We went to Hawaii, we took the whole family, then we went to...
Y'all were in LA not too long ago.
Yeah, we was in LA, we was in New York, Vegas. Because we've been doing a lot of trips lately. So he's probably...
I understand. So one year when me and my husband, I think for year 10, I know we're going to wrap it up, but year 10, we actually renewed our vows in our room. We held hands and looked at each other. It was the most intimate thing. It was that.
Thank you for that idea.
With just us.
That's what we're gonna do. I like that.
And it was real. It was real. Yeah, it was good.
Oh my goodness, that was sweet. That's what we're gonna do. Wait till I run that by him tonight. He's gonna be like so happy about that.
Save me some money.
I love it. Maybe we'll do some little weekend getaway.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not, because we like to take the kids with us. Girl, we are so stuck on that. And it's not just me, it's him too. It's like we just gotta have them with us. Then they'll get mad if we don't take them, right?
Look at that. I know that's right. I'd be mad too. Hey, I am mad. Where's my invitation? No, just playing.
You taking friends and family?
Everybody's coming.
Oh my God!
So my friend's sister is our travel agent, and I told her, I'm not inviting that many people.
You didn't invite 100 people already.
I did, and I said, girl, there's more.
Oh my God!
But listen, they pay for their own stuff. I just got my ceremony that I'm worried about. Okay. They pay for themselves because it's everybody's vacation. So again, it's really open invitation because I just want people to be able to go out to Jamaica, have a good time.
You have to have a passport?
You do.
Oh, okay. You gotta get passports.
Yeah, you gotta have a passport.
Her sister making some money.
Girl.
She's talking about
And it's funny because I kept saying all 2024, I said, I'm gonna get my travel agent's license. I'm gonna do it. And then I was like, I don't want that stress. I don't want that stress. So I made a decision. I said I'm a hustler, but
you don't stick with what you're doing.
Yeah, because I just don't want to add that new thing.
I understand.
Not that one.
Do you have any luxury clients? That's what I want to ask you. Any agents that are luxury realtors? I bet that commission look good. Or does it?
Well, my commission and y'all commission, my commission, y'all commission not the same. Y'all get paid more than I do on the transaction.
Even when it's
Well,
it's no different.
it's percentages. You know, like I think y'all make like 3%. I'm
Yeah.
under 2%. So yeah.
But still.
Well, it ain't what you make. It ain't what you make. No, but seriously though, I do try to position myself to be able to at least do, you know, just one deal minimal and live sufficiently, you know.
That's good.
So yeah.
Ooh, goodness. Had you ever thought about being a realtor and a lender?
That has been on my list too, but then I'm also I'm gonna have to talk to you on the side about like what are the stresses, because it seems y'all seem, I know y'all stress me out during the transaction. But that's why I'm here to take on the stress for the client. But
you're used to it because the client is what be stressing out the realtor. But you're used to that same stress with dealing with the client.
I guess so, girl.
I think it'd be easier when you, because I'm thinking about learning what you do, because a lot of times when they come to me, I don't have no clue of what you do. Like I don't know, I don't keep up with the rates and all that, which makes me, I feel like I'm slacking. But I usually just send it.
I was gonna say you don't have to. That's why you have a good. It's called a partnership for a reason, though, right? Because your partner handles this end and you handle the other.
But a lot of realtors be knowing all those details. I'm like, I gotta know my part.
But they be giving misinformation all day long.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
So, but that would be a benefit for you, because if you are doing both sides, like you know all this information, so when they come to you, you can tell them about the rates, how much they need to put down, what they need to get off their credit. Once you look at it, you know exactly what they need to do. You can pull this, you can do that, you can sit them to the lender.
Maybe it might have to change the way that I hustle though, because right now I'm not any realtor's competition. You know, so they kind of funnel people to me, which is fine. But once I get that license, I may be viewed as competition.
Oh, that's possible.
So there may be something that I have to just really consider, and I might just have to hustle differently to get my clientele, which is cool too. You know, it's cool too. But then I would have to think about a home. I know y'all fees are way more absorbent than mine. Like it's very expensive to be a real estate agent.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it very, very costly. So the fees with yours is not that expensive.
Girl, no, not at all. But that's why I also too, like I say, I don't make what y'all make on a commission either. I make a nice little chunk of change, but it's not what y'all make. Y'all have greater responsibility,
but you
financially.
Have double the clients too.
Yeah,
maybe triple the clients, because it's so it adds up too.
Yeah. Yeah, it could work. It could work both ways.
It could work. I'm definitely thinking about it.
Well, then after this, let's set up some time so we can have a lunch and we can have a meeting of the minds.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna hold you to it now.
I was gonna say the same thing.
I already got your link to your calendar, so I'm gonna just book myself on there.
Yeah, book yourself on there. We'll go ahead and set that up so we can pick each other's brains.
See how that works. Okay.
All right. Well, guess what, y'all? We're gonna get out of here. It was great speaking to Tatiana, and she is celebrating her birthday. We're going to say that again. Happy birthday. But make sure y'all tune in to the Boss Women Network podcast. You can find it on the YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Audible. Find it on different places. All you have to do is search Boss Women Network, and then it's there. But it's just the audio on those. But if you look on YouTube, you can see the actual podcast video or on the website.
Follow Instagram too, because your Instagram has a lot of
and the Instagram, so many clips of the podcast on there as well. So Boss Women Network on Instagram, Boss Women Network on YouTube, just Boss Women Network everywhere, and you'll be able to find it. And we have a brunch coming up.
I was about to ask you about that.
Yes, Millions and Mimosas brunch. We're going to have someone there speaking about funding. How can you get your funding for your business, grants? Just give you a little breakdown about that. We're going to have unlimited mimosas. We're giving away $500. We'll have some gift bags in there, some bags where vendors or things like that, where you can be able to get a free bag while you're there and just have some great food and connect with some boss women. It's okay. So we're out of here, y'all. Bye.
Bye. This was good. I enjoyed it.
Let
me actually taller than somebody sometimes. You see it?
You got heels on. You got heels on.
Was this for me?
Sign up for the Boss Elite package today. Unlock exclusive benefits designed to elevate your brand and presence. Free one-page website feature in one interview and guest host 3 segments of the BWN podcast. 1-hour monthly session at the Content Creator Lounge to shoot your content, 1-hour consultation on how to start and shoot your podcast. Your name, photo, and logo featured on the BWN website and more. Ready to take your business to the next level? The Boss Elite package is your key to building your brand and expanding your reach. Join now and become part of a powerful network of boss women.